Audio Jungle.
US or Europe? These are the two regions that every student considers when they're thinking about studying abroad. And today we are bringing you a comprehensive comparison so that you can decide for yourself whether you should go for US and UK. So today I have a very special guest with me, Osman, and we will be discussing about the expenses, what is the job market look like, and also the path to residency and everything that a student should consider. All right. The first most important thing, expenses, right? So, Usman, what do you think about the expenses of a student living in Europe?
So first of all, thanks, Amreen, for having me. It's like an honor for me to be here and discuss things about Europe, and we'll also ask about you about United
Yeah.
States, like how's the things going for students in United States. If you see Europe, there are so many countries in Europe, and like students have more options to study in. There is a variety of courses, there are a variety of institutes, and like everything varies from country to country. If you consider Germany,
Hmm.
there is free education. If you consider France, there are more public universities, and you will find some cheaper universities and with a good job market too. But if you consider Italy, the actually Italian right now, Italians are not offering like good, I would say, positions to students, and students should not like go to Italy right now. That's my
Okay.
suggestion to them. But if you consider Netherlands, Netherlands is a very good economy, but it comes with a high price, of course. The tuition
Yeah.
fee in Netherlands, in Holland, is a bit higher as compared to other countries. But yeah, in Europe there are many countries. So if Germany is the most asked, like if you want to ask anyone from Pakistan, India, and they will say that I want to study in Germany, Canada, or United States or Australia. That's the like Germany is the main from Europe. So I would say tuition fee vary from country to country, but usually if you have a mark of 3 to 4 thousand euros per annum, and that's the
Hmm.
main tuition fee in Europe. The average of all the countries maybe. So that's it for this side. But I think United States has a bit higher tuition fee. What would
Yeah.
you like to say about United States, the tuition fee and also the like living cost?
Yeah. I completely agree with you that US is definitely on a higher scale when it comes to tuition expenses and also the living expenses, right? So as a student right now, my three major expenses are tuition fee, living expenses, health insurance, and also traveling. But obviously, you can sort of adjust that. So tuition fee in terms for undergraduate or master's program, it can vary anywhere from 40 to 60K USD. And
Oh,
if we
that's
talk
huge.
about that's a lot compared to 4,000 for sure, right? And when we talk about the living expenses, that can go anywhere from $1,000 to probably $1,500 per month, right? So you have a 16K, so, sorry, you have 60K tuition fee plus 20K of living expenses, and then you add another 5K, 4 or 5K for the health insurance. So that approximately comes up to be like 85K per year, which is very expensive. If particularly if you're coming from a country like Pakistan or India and you're not studying on a scholarship.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's very high when we compare it to Europe. But I wanted to say, like, what are the benefits that if you are investing this much money in United
Yeah,
States, what are the benefits that you get when you are studying from United States?
I think this is a great question, right? And the biggest benefit is better job market. And when I say better job market, that in terms means that you have access to a wide variety of options, career options, of course, in finance, private equity, consulting. But at the same time, average salaries are much higher compared to Europe or other
Yeah,
countries as well, right? So if you're investing a lot upfront in the education, you are able to reap those benefits in form of higher salary later on as well.
Yeah, I totally agree to you. I was searching for some jobs in United States, and I saw
Yeah,
that almost the minimum salary for a technical person, for example, if we consider an acoustic engineer or a civil engineer,
yeah,
was around 1,000K per annum. But if we consider the
mhm,
same position in Europe, it would be like 35 to 40K per annum. So that's a
yeah,
huge difference, which comes if you are investing this much money in United States. So perks also exist with this money. So that's
definitely.
great, I think. So what? Okay, but okay, Amreen. Amreen, I wanted to ask you about your journey to Wharton, as Wharton is one of the institute from Ivy League. So how was your experience from like this prestigious institute, and how Wharton is different from other universities, especially Pakistani universities?
Okay, that's a great question, Usman. So there's a huge difference when you compare Wharton to education to the education system of other countries, and particularly Pakistan, right? So I've had my bachelor's in Pakistan, and I can see a clear difference in how these subjects are taught. What are the options available to students? And so it's not only about GPA, so you need to be an all-rounder student. So the number one biggest difference that I have noticed is in Pakistan, education system is very one directional. So your teacher is coming every time there's a lecture, they go on, and that's probably the limit of the interaction, right?
Yes,
Whereas in
exactly.
US and particularly Wharton, it's a lot more case based. So one of my favorite classes at Wharton that is entirely based on cases. You have a 16, 18-page case that you have to prepare ahead of the class. And the whole class is only dedicated to what you think about that particular case. Did you agree with the decisions, or if you were put in the seat of CEO of that company, would you make different choices? So I think the education system here favors critical thinking a lot more than Pakistan. I also think that in Pakistan, particularly even when I was a student, my focus was okay, yes, you need to get a GPA 4 out of
Yeah,
4,
exactly.
but
That's the
here,
main thing in
yeah,
Pakistan. We see like you have to get 4.0.
4.0, yeah. But right now, I think here I need to be focused on being a holistic student, right? You need to network, reach out to alumni and make sure that you're exploring tons of career paths, internship opportunities for you as well. Then you need to be a very active student leader as well, participate in clubs, lead initiative, but don't let all of that also impact your GPA as well. So I feel like you need to put a lot more effort here.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And by the way, I was more interested in your profile. Like, how was your profile,
Yeah.
and like how you aligned it to MBA in Wharton, and how was your work experience? I think you had quite some work experience also.
Sure. So, in terms of the profile, before coming to Wharton, I had 6 years of work experience, and
Oh,
that
that's
work experience was in Hong Kong and Singapore. I started as a management trainee, and then I moved to consulting later on with PY. So, most of my experience was working with financial institutions like banks, wealth and asset management, or insurance companies, and advising them on business transformation projects and sometimes like technology and financial transformation projects as well. I think that was great experience, and that helped me build my case that yes, I've had this amazing experience, but I'm ready to take my career to next level. And which is why I was like, okay, yes, MBA makes sense for me now.
Yes, exactly. I think and this is better when you have a work experience than if you're going for MBA.
Yeah.
You have quite some experience in industry. Then things become easy to understand. Like then MBA becomes meaningful if you have
Mhm.
proper work experience and you are understanding things, especially you are studying from one of the prestigious universities in the world. So
Yeah.
that's very good. By the way, Amreen, I wanted to ask you about any scholarships in Ivy League and other universities too, not only Wharton. Did you secure any scholarship, and how you manage your finances, the academic, the tuition fee, and these things?
Yes. So I feel like scholarships are obviously the biggest part of decision when you're choosing between schools. So the reason that I came to Wharton was because I was able to get, I think, quite substantial scholarship that basically funded around 80% of my tuition fee. In addition, I think this is the thing that not a lot of people know, that once you're in Wharton or any business school, you can apply for additional scholarship in your second year as well. At the same time, when you do internships and you convert those internships into full-time role, you do
Yeah.
receive sign-on bonuses, and you also receive fellowship where a lot of bulge bracket banks or consulting firms sponsor second year of your education. So there are tons of ways to obviously finance your education. But I
Yeah,
also took a loan, so which I'm going to pay for sure after the graduation now.
yeah, and that's great. Like you have some options, and you're exploring those options. So for students, it's an advice to explore
Yeah,
options before coming, and also come in Wharton. You have to apply for many other options that are
yeah,
available as a student.
yeah,
So if we see this thing in Europe, there are some main scholarships in Europe, and Erasmus is one of those
for
scholarships
sure.
which I am in. So if you wanna apply for Erasmus, it's like I would say it's not that difficult to apply, but it's difficult to win actually because there are a lot of Pakistanis, a lot of Indians apply, but Pakistanis are growing exponentially. Each time Pakistan is leading, and the number of Pakistanis in Erasmus Mundus scholarship also in Fulbright, it's increasing. Like huge number of Pakistanis apply in this scholarship. It's competitive one, and if we see the cost, also as we discussed before, that academic
Yeah.
is not as expensive in Europe, but if you get this scholarship, you will be paying nothing, and you will
Mhm.
also be getting your relocation cost. You will be getting your stipend, and like everything will be covered, like your health insurance, your tuition fee. So and that's a great plus if you get this scholarship in Europe. So
What are the like? So obviously, if you get something like Erasmus, most of your education is then fully funded, right? What do you think about the job opportunities, and
yeah.
obviously the visa sponsorship in Europe after graduation?
Yeah, and there's a like a great question. Most of the students are coming to Europe or anywhere they are leaving their country for the later settlements or in
Yeah.
search of jobs. So if you see Europe, like Europe is a mix of more than 50 countries, and if you consider
Mhm.
Schengen zone only, there are now 28 countries. You can work anywhere. And there are quite some nice options like UK. You can go to like out of Schengen zone if you get job in UK, but there are some restrictions. If you
Okay.
do your bachelor's or a master's from one country, you cannot apply for the job seeker visa of another country. You have to apply the job seeker
Oh.
visa of that country. Only in some cases, like Netherlands offer job orientation and like Netherlands offer job orientation visa to any student who has done his degree from Europe. So if I'm not studying from Netherlands, I will be applying for Netherlands job seeker visa. So things depends because the bureaucracy in Europe is a bit divided because there are
Okay.
many countries and you have to take care of the regulations of some countries, and maybe in some cases regulations varies from country to country. For example, if you are studying in France and you have one semester in France like me, you can apply for a French job seeker visa, you can apply for Portuguese job seeker visa, you can apply for Spanish job seeker visa. For me, I'm studying in three countries and I'll be doing my internships in the fourth country, maybe in Belgium,
Mhm.
so or maybe in United States. So I you can apply on the basis of these things. But the job
Okay.
market in Europe, there are like there are many things that depends. Also the job, also the language barrier because it's Europeans. Like Europeans speak their own languages. Most of the Europeans, for example, if you want to work in Germany, it's like very difficult to work in Germany in English language. More than 90% of the jobs are in German. So
Mhm.
also in France, France is even worse in case of language barrier
Oh.
than Germans. So you have to learn the languages. But in case of Netherlands, or in case of Belgium, or in case of Denmark, Sweden, you can easily get English speaking jobs, and of course the technical jobs are mostly in English. But if you are working like a content creator or digital marketing side, you have to learn the languages. Or also if you are learning for or also if you are working in a field of computer sciences, you have to learn the languages because it's difficult. As far as I know, I have explored the job market, but most of the jobs are in their own language, so it's a plus. But if you learn their language, it's like a huge plus. It's a long term benefit. You will be applying for the PR, you will be applying for the
Mm.
citizenship once in life. So this also thing, that's a very important thing actually we have discussed. Like if you come to Europe, it's way easier to get PR than as we compare to United States. That's a plus in Europe. So mostly people want to get a second citizenship, like Pakistanis want to get second citizenship, of course.
Sure.
And that's a like huge plus. If, for example, we consider France or Portugal, any European country, after 5 years, so after 5 years, after after 5 years you can apply for the PR, and then you can apply for the citizenship. It's very easy to get citizenship here in Europe, but in some cases you have to learn the language to clear the last exam. So that's a plus point when we compare to
Yeah.
United States. But the job market and the like pay is not that good as we compare to United States.
I think I think if we talk about US, particularly the path to permanent residency is probably one of the longest and
Yeah.
hardest as well. So as a student, you come on F1 visa, then you transfer, then then you have 3 years to enter into lottery, and then you win H1B. Then you most probably are working on H1B for 6 years, unless your employer actually sponsors the green card for you. And once you have green card, then after that you have to stay for, and then after that, I think based on your nationality, you get into the queue for citizenship as well. So there is no defined path for how long it can take for you to get the citizenship. I feel like that is one of the biggest drawbacks. That
Yeah,
if you're looking at studying abroad as a means to getting permanent residency, then US might be the hardest path that you can
yeah,
choose for
exactly.
yourself.
By the way, I mean, I was curious about the business market of United States for as a student. Like, if you want to build a business of your own, like you want to build a
Yeah.
startup, are you allowed to build a startup on your own name after your graduation? I think, meanwhile,
Yes.
you as a student, you cannot build your own startup, or you can. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can
So
some light on this.
I think the process is quite complicated. It's not as easy. So you can obviously build your startup while you're a student, but then you cannot, but then you, everything you earn from that startup, you have to reinvest that back. So you are building your equity by the time you're graduating, but then that does not give you that, but that's not means for you to earn money while
Mhm.
you're a student, right? But once you graduate, then you can probably apply for, I think, order like open visa or some other visa that are related to startups. And then you can take the form of, okay, yes, now I'm going to become the founder of this startup, and the equity that you had built before while you were a student, that is obviously going to be, I think, important for you. But I do feel like US is probably not the most easiest country if if you're considering doing startup, particularly as an international student. A lot of my friends right now who initially wanted to do startups after looking at the immigration challenges, they've all thought about, okay, let's go through an employer route first, be able to get a green card, and after that, think about building their own startups.
Yeah, that's like I have seen so many people who, either they go on the green card, marrying someone,
Yeah,
or of course, and then they build their startup early on. And yeah, I have seen this. Quite some people also discuss this that this building a startup as a student and even after
let's do that.
graduation is a bit complex in United States. But if we compare this thing in Netherlands, it's super easy. Also in Sweden, and it's very easy.
Mm-hmm.
But in some cases, French bureaucracy, by the way, is not that good, especially for Pakistanis. So we have to take care of this. But there are some pros and cons. But if you're considering Europe, by the way, so like if you have a limited budget and you want to achieve early on some payments, and you can manage somehow for Europe. But if you are thinking about the later stage, I think that's my suggestion. That's my suggestion
Yeah,
that United States is the better option if you are seeing your life after maybe 20 years, and then you will be maybe in a better position in the United States, because most of
yeah.
the billionaires, millionaires live in United States. It's like a
No,
billion
I think
dollar, trillion dollar economy, I would say.
It is a trillion dollar economy, you're right. But I also think like the final choice obviously comes down to everyone's unique situation, right? And it
Yeah,
depends as with everything. If you have limited
yeah,
funds and if this is your way to get the permanent residency as fast as possible, US is
yeah,
not the way to go. But if you're looking for better career opportunities, better schools in some sense as well, then potentially US is the way to go. But I
okay.
also think like the path to that dream job or you actually settling in is a lot longer. So whoever is deciding to do, they need to be comparing both pros and cons and be ready to step into the situation after considering everything.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree to you. Like, it's difficult. It's not as easy as we think. And that maybe when I was a student, I was sitting out in Pakistan and I was thinking they're international students actually, that they have a very good life. They are earning in dollars, they are earning in euros, and they are like going to be there having the second citizenship in
Time of their
few
life, yes.
years. So this is how we think when we are not experience ourselves. So it's not as easy as we think. But to conclude, like I would say, if you're committed to a cause, like
Yes,
oh, you have to be sure that what you want out of it. So if you're sure that in limited time and limited budget and you want to have maybe a job early on and in a better job market than Pakistani job market, or even most of the Pakistanis aim to go to Middle East, Europe is better than Middle East, also in payments, also in everything, in work environment. I would say it's way better. By the way, I wanted to say that Europeans have more number of vacations or holidays, I would say, like than
of
any
course.
other region or country. Europeans chill a lot, they party a lot. I live on a beach in Valencia, Spain, and Spanish beaches, are known for their party, and also it's like a Miami in United States.
So if you want to
So
party, go to Europe, basically.
yeah, exactly. If you want to party to, like, you should come to Europe. There is a like variety of party. You can go to Budapest, you can go to Berlin in club, and you can also party in like Paris. You can party on Spanish
Of
beaches.
course.
So that's the plus point. And they have a large number of holidays.
Oh yeah, I think you probably Europe has best work-life balance so far
Yeah,
out of any countries. Yeah. They just
yeah.
don't work in summer. I know. Everyone is on holidays.
Yes, exactly. I think you worked in Hong Kong, right? The Chinese in the
Hmm.
Hong Kong work environment is quite like hectic, I would say. Maybe you have experience, you could explain better. But as per my image of them, like they are really working hard every day. They are coming hard every day. So Europeans don't work like that. They work every day and they work like in a good passion, but they just work from 9 to 5, and that's after 5 they're not gonna do anything official, so they will just party.
I think maybe in part two we should also think about discussing a little bit more about the work-life balance as well and the difference in culture between US, Europe, and other countries as well. All right. So if we get 500 likes on this video, we'll definitely make a part two. We'll think about more countries where students are definitely thinking to go and study. And also
Yeah,
we'll deep dive into how you can party more in Europe as well. All right. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching and please do
thank
consider
you guys.
subscribing.
Thank you guys, and thank you, Ambreen, to you. And yeah,
Thank
if
you.
we get 500 likes, we'll make it part 2. So thank you
Of course.
everyone.
Thank you.